Hey, Warpugs, Dragon of Dragon has requested Warrior Tier, and we are here for it. Guys, yes, this is one of the Warrior Tier shirts. If you guys like this, it feels good, it looks good. It's at warriortier.com. Go buy and get yourself one. This Iron Within, Iron Without. The the Iron Warriors are, yes, flat out. I have an immense amount of respect for Perturabo. He carried the entire heresy on his back. Legitimately, Horus might have been the figurehead, but Perturabo was the one that made half the stuff actually happen. Okay, there's very little that would have happened in the heresy if not for Perturabo. They would have ground to a halt at the Siege of Terra. They never would have gotten past the Saturnine Gate without Perturabo. And by the time they got through the Saturnine Gate, basically it was just a matter of time. What can you say about Perturabo? What can you say about the Iron Warriors in the Heresy days? And what can you say about them now? They are a completely different type of Astartes from the ground up than most others. A lot of Astartes fit a particular mold, but the Iron Warriors themselves, they are siege busters specialized in attrition warfare they are the best at it. They are the absolute best at it. And to see them and the Imperial Fist pitted against each other is to see the best at siege and the best at defense. It is undoubtedly the most grounded legion, period. And they're the most human for the most part. And I've said my piece on Perturabo and the Iron Warriors and what they went through. His turn to chaos was, in my opinion, the second most reasonable behind Angron's. But let's get into it. Iron Within, Iron Without, Warrior Tier. This is requested again by Dragon of Dragons. I've been psyched for this since I saw it pop up. Let's go. Oh.
First rank, repair, fire. Second rank, third battery, rotate 3.76 degrees eastward. Fire. 14th battery, load siege crackers. Fire. You are nothing. You are wet, weak clay. You are barely even a mote. You are barely even an insect. You will be broken. You will be remade. In fire of cannons, you will go deaf. As the galaxy falls silent, you will hear a better truth. And the truth is this. You will be reborn as a soldier, poured into the cast of the warrior. And you will rise. The righteous soldiers of the 4th Legion.
Ah, yeah.
The galaxy is aflame. And you will burn.
Oh. Iron Cage? No, not the Iron Cage.
I will not live much longer. I have many names. The first I was given was Anders Magan. I have been given more. Monster. Butcher. Breaker. My time is limited. I refuse to be part of a heresy of unjust death. The Cataclysm of Iron was the end point of the Grand Heresy for me. I feel the rust setting in. Before I return to the ground, and before Father Time needs me back to my component parts, let me tell you of a few truths. One truth is this: war is the natural state of all life. From the first moment the first cellular organism consumed its neighbor, war was inevitable. In the holy crucible of combat, we are broken. In the holy crucible of combat, we are remade. We are forged anew by flames that have burned since before our species could even walk. From the very beginning, ready to wage war. Sticks, stones, rocks, bows, javelins, lances. On horseback, on the backs of great beasts, with the bullet and blade, we wrote the tale of time in the only ink of any value: blood. And what is contained within blood? Iron. There is iron within us. And when we cut our foes, their iron is without. Iron within. Iron without.
I love this take.
Within us is the iron needed to be a warrior. Without the iron, we are prey, chattel, and corpses. We are the Iron Warriors. I am an Iron Warrior. Ours is a legacy of savagery.
Yep.
Our name was earned in the conflagration of the early wars of unification. We bled for an emperor, and an empire that regarded our blood with less than contempt. We were but soldiers,
True.
bodies to clog our enemies' defenses with. Our bodies were but the stones of ramparts. Ramparts that our supposed brothers could use to climb to glory. And then forget we were there at all. Our father raised his head from the quagmire and declared enough.
That line is so, like, there have been, like, the lines in this are perfect ways for an Iron Warrior to describe what happened to them and what eventually, it's perfect. I'm going to let this play and then I've got to come back.
Enough pointless blood. Enough wasted iron. No more would the Fourth be ignored. We would take what was ours. Our fallen brothers would no longer be churned to fertilize ground that was ours by right. How many worlds did we conquer only to never own? I do not know. But for each world that should have been ours, we burned another that was stolen by our brothers. How can the regal, royal Ultramarines possibly understand the pain? The horror of loss. Do you truly believe that there is a legion more deserving of the rights of conquest than the Fourth?
No.
After the false emperor united mankind beneath his banner, he promised glory to the sons of Olympia.
Gave
He
none.
promised a recognition that never came. We were not to him but chaff, fodder for his foes, foes to be fought in a war of arrogance. The unification, the butchery, the death, all of it was nothing but worship of that man. That's the actual imperial truth. All who serve the king of all corpses, all who fight in humanity's wars are meat being sacrificed on the altar of a false king. Perhaps worse is that Horus, Erebus, and Lorgar led my Iron Brothers down an equally false path. The freedom promised to the Iron Prince was just another jest. Again, we were ill-regarded pawns. In a war of vanity, in a war of depravity,
Yep.
in a war of poison. Perhaps we expected too much. Perhaps even asking for a slight nod of recognition for our sacrifices was too arrogant. But statues are raised to honor humans who die in combat that can never compare to our battles. Horus knew this and used us like plasteel figures on a game board. We were lied to, misled, and spent. Fulgrim, that poisonous fool, went so far as to use Perturabo, stealing his very essence so that he may transcend. The perfumed whores of Fulgrim call their father a prince. A prince. Disgusting.
Yes.
A crown and a snake's tail does not make a prince. His ascension was a joke. He went from something true, a warrior, a leader, and became a degenerate. His gifts are but chains, painted and glamored so that the slave cannot feel their pull.
Oh.
Tell me, how quickly do you think the writhing sentience known as Slaanesh would yank the chain if Fulgrim decided to be his own self? How powerful are gifts if they can be taken away?
True.
They are dust. Fulgrim didn't learn what he should have from his time with Perturabo. He didn't learn that there are no gifts. There is only iron. Iron within, iron without. So many of my former brothers are now lost. The Lunar Wolves, the Warhounds, the Thousand Suns, the Death God. Lost to promises from malignant beings they believe are gods. It has been worshipped by humanity from the moment our first ancestor throttled the life from his rival. There is only one god. Its name is Iron. Every warrior who has heard the thunder of the guns or seen the breaking of the sky is an Iron warrior at heart. Every person who has raised a blade, every single human who has spilled blood was an Iron warrior. And every one of us has been lied to, used, broken, bled, and forgotten. Consider the cemetery worlds with their billions of soldiers standing in rank, standing in formation, in service even in death. The blood-soaked skeleton princes of Angron's flared legions. The venomous, slinking snakes of Alfaria's particular armies. None of them have paid the price.
No.
None can fathom the iron we have spent during millennia of war. They sit in gilded halls, palaces of bone and steel. They do not care for the foot soldiers who died so that they could stare at their own reflections. I know. How can someone like me, a traitor, a butcher, possibly hold any moral high ground? I do not deny my crimes. I embrace the truth that I have lived. And I know the face of each soldier I killed. I know the face of Kurt Tenno, the salamander I was forced to kill. I will remember his face. I know how the tide churns and turns black with enough blood, because I have seen it. But I respect my foes. I regard them for what they have earned. They were iron. They lived by the iron. They fought with the iron in their hearts. Just as I have. Just as my brothers once did. If iron is strength, then rust is a cancer.
Yes.
And I see the cancer that has consumed my dear Forth. I see how Horus has poisoned us, how we were deceived. And I know that the foot soldiers of any war are always forgotten. I accept that I went too far. I am a traitor. But I am only a traitor to the Emperor. I am a loyalist to my fellow soldiers. I am a traitor in the eyes of the new 4th Legion. I am a loyalist to the memory of what we once were. And I spit in the faces of the supposed gods of chaos. There is only one God, and it has countless loyal followers. My God has lived since the dawn of time itself. My
Oh,
God is within.
God.
My God is without.
Yes, it is iron.
Iron within. Iron without. I am the Fourth Legion.
Okay. I have to come back to some. Yes. I have to come back. I have to come back. Because some of these lines hit just different. Some of these lines just hit different. The fourth, I love this.
One truth is this. War is the natural state of all life.
This is how an Iron War would exactly describe
From the first moment the first cellular organism
everything.
consumed its neighbor, war was inevitable.
This absolutely
In the holy crucible of combat,
outstanding. Let's see if I can't find.
ready to wage war. Blade. Iron. We are prey, chattel, and
I love
within
this.
us. And when we of unification is with
Okay, so this area right here, I was just like, I was gobsmacked over. So, there's a reason the fourth holds a special place in my heart. Because I say they are the most human legion. I also say they were the legion that deserved the most credit and got the least. They were sent to crack the absolute hardest nuts. They were sent to fight the wars that none of their brothers wanted to fight. I often bring up the comparison between the Emperor's Children and the Iron Warriors. The Emperor's Children fought a month-long campaign against a civilization that was not very, they weren't very siege specialized. They didn't have any fortifications. The only thing about them was they were very, very powerful. That was the layer. They lost 700 Astartes and 2 times wounded, and the only reason they didn't lose a lot more was because of the skill of the Emperor's Children apothecaries. It dynamically changed the Legion. It changed the Legion in ways that would only come to be seen throughout the course of the next few years. But for the Iron Warriors, losing 700 Astartes wasn't even worth talking about. Okay, we lost 700 Astartes, that's a light day for us. The Iron Warriors had gotten their recruitment and replenishment strategies down so pat, it was ridiculous. They just knew, everywhere we go, we're going to fight a war, and we're going to be bled. We're going to be bled pale over what we fight. Alright, hold on. I gotta find that next little bit. I love this whole sequence. I love this whole sequence. How they wrote the tale of time in the only ink of any value, which is blood, and what does blood have in it? It has iron.
we are the Iron Warriors. Bodies to clog and then forget we were there at all.
That one, this part right here, the fourth, in a lot of the Legion's tales of their great glories, if the fourth showed up to help them, the fourth had such a reputation, and it was because of the wars they fought. It was because of the way they fought. It was because of the wars they fought. The fourth had a reputation of being ground pounders, and if you were a human, if you were a human soldier, you didn't want to be attached to the fourth, because you would be fighting. And you were going to be dying like flies. If the Fourth had remained loyalist, Krieg would love the Fourth. Krieg and the Fourth would go together like peas and carrots. And Krieg would be happy to meet the Fourth. But what wound up happening was Perturabo's Fourth wound up being regarded as almost a shameful presence for other legions to endure. They're noble warriors. It wouldn't be right to acknowledge the Fourth alongside their noble warriors, because the Fourth are, they're corpse grinders. That's what they are. They just grind. That's what they are. They're just. It's too much to put our noble warriors next to them in the pages of our glories, so we're just going to take the name of the Fourth out and replace it with compatriots, our companions. So they erased the Fourth from their legacies before the heresy had even been declared. And it's disgusting. Of all the legions that should have given the Imperium the finger, the Fourth was it. And I've often said that so much could have changed if the Emperor or any of his other brothers, but most importantly the Emperor, had told him, why are you getting ready to go fight? Take some time. Build some of the, because Perturabo had libraries of architectural works that he had designed. He had libraries. Dorn was the guy that built fortifications. Perturabo was the man who could build civilizations. Okay? Dorn could fortify anything, but Perturabo would build the civilization that would live there. That's what he was. At the core of himself, that's what he was. I would love to see a description of Medjugorje, which is where Perturabo wound up. Guys, this is Warrior Tears' take on the Iron Warriors, and I approve, because holy crap. This is something I'm going to listen to again and again and again, because this right here, this whole sequence where they talk about the heresy, like what happened before the heresy and then the heresy itself, where the Iron, legitimately, during an attack, Perturabo listened to what one of his captains had said to him, and then got up from his chair and said, "Get everyone, we're leaving." And the traitors, the traitors alongside Horus, were so wrapped up in what was going on, they never even, some of them did notice, but they barely even registered that the Iron Warriors fleet was detaching itself from the rest of the fleet. They just left. They left. Because it was enough. And the war was pointless, as far as Perturabo was seeing. Not even his hatred of Rogel, to break Rogel's defenses, not even that motivation could keep him there anymore. He was just done. He was done with everything. Thank you guys for watching. If you'd like to see more like this, if you haven't before, just hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button and let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Was Perturabo justified? I think he was. And down in the description, we have the Warrior Tier merch shop right next to my own. Go down there and get yourself some drip. Anyhow, I'm going to head out, and I'll catch you guys next time. Hit button, you old boomer.